89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake, West Bloomfield, Kego Harbor, Sylvan Lake. 89.3 Lakes FM. It's the Megacast, an hour-long TV and radio streaming show keeping you informed on the day-to-day news. Live from West Bloomfield, we're bringing you the news, updates, and information impacting communities around Michigan. Join our host, Tyler Kieft, as he talks with community members, business leaders, and professional experts about the stories that impact you. You're watching the Megacast on Civic Center TV.
There are many different kinds of noses. Our noses can sniff out all kinds of things. Good things and bad things. Your nose knows if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
I'm Steve Eiserman of the Detroit Red Wings, and I think every child in Michigan deserves a safe, healthy, and happy childhood. Can we build a state where Children Trust Michigan isn't just a name, but something our kids believe? Please support Children Trust Michigan as the voice for children and families by visiting the website to learn more.
You're listening to your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills. Today's edition of the Megacast begins now. Welcome to the Megacast, our live, daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always stay up to date with us and find all of our partnering stations on our website, civiccentertv.com/Megacast, where you'll find our full episodes, each individual segment on demand every single day. Be able to watch us live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on Civic Center TV and all throughout our network, including local community television and radio stations in your hometown, as well as all throughout the state of Michigan for free on the My Michigan TV app for your smartphones and your smart TVs, as well as live and for free online. civiccentertv.com/Megacast is the place you'll go for all of that. Also on our website, on our local news page, we have our top stories making headlines each and every day here in Oakland County and all throughout the state of Michigan. Our top story today comes from the Associated Press via the Detroit News. The Wilderness Trail Fire that broke out last weekend in Grayling Township in northern Michigan is now fully contained, per reports from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. The blaze began on Saturday afternoon and burned upwards of 3 square miles of northern Michigan, beginning on a private campsite and then quickly spreading to the area surrounding that particular campsite. Tuesday's final extinguishment efforts centered on eliminating remaining hot spots in that general area, later allowing local roads in that area that had been closed for several days to finally reopen. The wildfire had a number of effects, including the evacuation of over 300 people from the local area in northern Michigan until 11 p.m. this Saturday, when they'll return to their homes. In addition, smoke from this wildfire and another wildfire in Canada are affecting air quality and visibility as far as even our local area here in Oakland County, with select pockets of reduced visibility today around Waterford and in the northern middle region of Oakland County, among several other parts of southeastern Michigan. The DNR reports despite this wildfire being over, the risk for wildfires remains high in Michigan due to the heat and extremely dry conditions, having been weeks now since the last precipitation activity all across our state. Per the Department of Natural Resources in this story from the Associated Press via the Detroit News, quote, fire danger remains very high due to extreme heat throughout the state. Over 24 fires have been fought in Michigan in just the past week by the DNR alone. That does not include statistics on fires being fought by local fire departments all throughout the state of Michigan. Again, the danger for fire spreading outdoors and turning into wildfires remains high due to ongoing conditions in the state of Michigan. So if you're in a community that permits open burning, this may not be the right week to be doing any of that, burning brush or other debris from your yard to get rid of it instead of throwing it out. Maybe put that at the curb or just put that aside for a week or two until we get some rain in our local area, because having that out in the sun, open burning, that could potentially turn that debris into basically kindling that could essentially start a wildfire in your local area. It's exactly what happened in northern Michigan. A campfire gone wrong turned into a wildfire, the Wilderness Trail Fire, that was fought beginning Saturday and all the way through Tuesday. So that's 4 days. That is 4 days of fire. Over 3 square miles of land in northern Michigan burned, or at least affected by the burning in this Wilderness Trail Fire that the DNR finally was able to extinguish for once and for all on Tuesday afternoon. The same thing can happen in our local area, even in residential areas. So if you're in a community that permits open burning, if you're going to do it during this time, be extremely careful and make sure you do not ever leave that fire unattended. And if you can wait to burn until after rain comes through, and last I checked on Monday, we were expecting to have some precipitation over the weekend. That still is the forecast, with rain on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. So it looks like these dry conditions are going to come to an end, but we got a few more days we got to get through before that precipitation comes through. And until that happens, we're going to continue to have some pretty significant heat in our local area. Most of the rest of this week is pretty temperate, but Saturday, 83-degree forecast, at least here where I'm doing the broadcast in western Oakland County, and that will be very similar throughout the rest of our area. But it's been unseasonably hot. It's been extremely dry outside, moderate to low humidity, and so with that being the case, the conditions are ripe for fires to spread very quickly outdoors on our grasses, in our brush, in the bushes, and beyond, and especially in the wooded areas of our state where we have already seen that take its toll this weekend. And it doesn't just affect that local area where the fires are. It affects surrounding areas. It affects neighboring areas as well. As far as even outside of our state, the smoke from the Wilderness Trail Fire also affecting visibility and air quality, where there's already been air quality alerts several times over the past week or so here in the state of Michigan and surrounding areas due to the heat and due to the dry conditions outside. The smoke does not help. So on top of the fire in Michigan, there's also been one in the eastern portion of Canada, and that have both sent smoke into the atmosphere that have traveled with the wind current through the state of Michigan, affecting visibility, reducing air quality, especially in some areas, and just on a minor scale in others. But again, the fire risk remains high. The DNR is asking for extreme caution, especially in campsites and wooded areas where these fires can spread extremely quickly. It's basically one giant fire that can be created by a little tiny spark. So be extremely careful in your campfires, certainly if you're open burning. And for those in our flagship communities in the greater West Bloomfield area, remember, open burning is not allowed per ordinance in any of those 4 communities. Check your local ordinances before open burning and be extremely careful this week. Additionally, making headlines today on our local news page from Arpon Lobo at the Detroit Free Press, legislative leaders in the Democratic caucus in the majority in Lansing are exploring the banning of the practice of conversion therapy on LGBTQIA plus minors in Michigan, with the first hearing on potential legislation having happened yesterday. Per the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, this practice attempts to psychoanalyze and counsel young people to convert their sexual and or their gender identity to a more heteronormative standard. That the Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, listed in this article, however, does state that there is no evidence that this practice is effective, and states that there is, however, evidence that it can be harmful to a child's development. That is in addition to over a dozen medical societies and associations throughout the U.S. who also oppose this practice. One of the Democrats in Lansing supporting the potential ban of conversion therapy in Michigan is Representative Jason Hoskins from Southfield, the first openly gay person of color to serve in the state's legislature, who was quoted by the Free Press saying, quote, "A lot of the practices that are involved are very harmful and destructive to children, like using electroshock therapy or aversion therapy. I think it's one of the tools that is in place that allows discrimination to flourish," and closed quote. In 2021, Governor Whitmer signed an executive directive barring the use of public funds to support conversion therapy practices. This bill has already had sessions to define its practice, the one that's being discussed in the legislature, not the executive directive, has already had sessions to define what it means to be conversion therapy and began to lay out the elements of conversion therapy that could potentially be banned in our state should this legislation pass and ultimately be signed by Governor Gretchen Whitmer, signed into law. You can find more details on this potential ban, including what's being discussed by leadership in Lansing, and a little bit more information, background information on conversion therapy and the potential dangers that come along with it. From this article, great work being done by Arpon Lobo and the team at the Detroit Free Press to keep up to date with this. You can do the same by clicking through this article on our local news page on civiccentertv.com. Also making news today from the Oakland Press's Matthew Farr. Transportation services in Oakland County are expanding to help residents right here in the Lakes area. The Western Oakland Transportation Authority, otherwise known as WOTA, is now expanding medical and employment-related rides into Kego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, Sylvan Lake, and Lake Angeles, part of the expansion of local transportation that was passed by taxpayers in the 2022 midterm elections by a ballot initiative. WOTA already serves communities in Waterford, White Lake, and Highland Townships, and its sister sector, NOTA, in northern Oakland County, provides services to Orion Township, Oxford, and Addison Township. Water Board Chairperson Rick Hamill applauded the expansion, telling the Oakland Press, quote, "By providing longer hours for riders using WOTA for employment and medical purposes, we are paving the way for fully expanding the program. As WOTA builds the program, we are excited to see the millage dollars at work in our local communities," and closed quote. In addition to the expansion, WOTA fares will also be modified with the new fare system being $2 per stop regardless of where you begin or terminate your trip. So no matter what, if you're going from point A to point C, $2 will be your fare per each time that you stop. So you get off at one stop, you get on at another stop, $2 each time will be your fare as you begin and terminate your trip. More information on the expansion of WOTA in Oakland County, the Western Oakland Transportation Authority, and the Northern Oakland Transportation Authority, and even more information on the expansion of the public transportation program in Oakland County as a result of the 2022 millage ballot initiative can be found in this article from the Oakland Press, listed on our website, civiccentertv.com. Just go to our local news page. Happening in our local area on our local news page from the Southfield Sun's Catherine Pentuk. As Juneteenth approaches on June 17th, the city of Southfield is making final preparations for a week-long celebration of the holiday that recognizes the emancipation of black slaves in the United States. New events will happen every single day of the week leading up to the Juneteenth holiday, beginning on Monday, June 12th at 5 p.m. in front of Southfield City Hall, all in partnership with a number of local community organizations and city agencies such as the Public Library, the Historical Society, and Parks and Recreation. Directly from this article via C&G News' Southfield Sun, the local paper in the city of Southfield, quote, according to Paulina Drake, president of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated's Pi Tau Omega chapter, Southfield became one of the first cities in Michigan to honor the Juneteenth holiday when former president of the fraternity, Zena M. Kiles, the organization pitched the idea to Mayor Kenson Siver. And in 2020, Southfield was set to have its first week-long Juneteenth celebration. Unfortunately, due to COVID-19, like many other events in our local area and across the U.S. and around the world, that was pushed back as a result of the pandemic, and the celebration was held for the first time in 2021. Drake told a very diverse community of all races and nationalities, and we all live harmoniously together. And I was very impressed. Need to acknowledge this national holiday, and closed quote. This will not be the only Juneteenth celebration in the local area, with a full day of fun activities scheduled where we originate our broadcast in the Civic Center TV coverage area in West Bloomfield at West Bloomfield High School, scheduled for Juneteenth, Saturday, the 17th, by way of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force. We will have someone from that task force on our show next week. I'm in contact with one of the organizers and one of the members of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force that is overseeing this event, and we are expected to have them on most likely on Monday of next week. So stay tuned to the Megacast over the next several days of our live shows to get even more information on the Juneteenth celebration happening once again at West Bloomfield High School. And if you want to celebrate the Juneteenth holiday all throughout the week, plenty of opportunities to do that in the city of Southfield, beginning Monday, June 12th, and running all the way through the Juneteenth holiday on June 17th. That is a Saturday. More information can be found in this article, including supporting links and information on each day's events in the city of Southfield beginning next week, Monday. CivicCenterTV.com on our local news page, the fourth article from the top today. Finally, making headlines today on our local news page from Mary Jensen at the Birmingham Bloomfield Eagle. Another fun event happening right here in our local area, but happening this week, Friday, in the Birmingham Shopping District as they kick off their first movie night of 2023. The tradition continues this summer and begins on Friday, running also on July 14th and August 11th, as well as September 8th at Booth Park in downtown Birmingham. In addition to movies, Goldfish Swim School will have a kids tent with activities for the little ones before the movies, including some fun prizes and plenty of games and other family-friendly activities. So it can really be a full night down at the park at Booth Park in Birmingham. Birmingham Public Relations Specialist Erica Bassett says the movie nights are a beloved tradition, telling the Eagle, quote, they bring people together to enjoy free, good old-fashioned fun in the beautiful Booth Park. There is something so special about being able to enjoy the simple things in life with family and with friends. It's one of the many different events that the Birmingham Shopping District holds over the summer to, of course, encourage people to come down to downtown Birmingham, enjoy the parks, enjoy the city, enjoy the nighttime with all this extra sunlight we have over the course of the summer. Plenty of fun events, movie nights every week, as well as plenty of more events and special sales all throughout the summer. The Friday showing this week on June 9th will be of the movie Encanto, with pre-movie entertainment from Tap Dance Detroit, as well as plenty of other activities, food, and fun in downtown Birmingham. Plenty to do this Friday and all through next week as we get into another holiday this summer, and plenty of events already underway and getting back into full swing this summer right here in Oakland County. A great article from CNG News' The Birmingham Bloomfield Eagle that you can find linked on our website on CivicCenterTV.com on our local news page. More information can also be found on the Birmingham Shopping District special events, including their monthly movie nights, now beginning Friday and running also in July, August, and September, by visiting them on social media. They're on Facebook at Birmingham Shopping District and on Instagram as well at BHAM Shopping. You can also find them on Twitter. I'll pull that up real briefly here for us, so you have another place that you can look for information if you particularly using Twitter. That's at BHAM Shopping on Twitter. So again, all the places you can go on social media to get more information and updates on a movie night and other Birmingham Shopping District events. Facebook at Birmingham Shopping District, and on both Twitter and on Instagram at BHAM Shopping. You can also read this entire article from our friends at the Birmingham Bloomfield Eagle via CNG News, and find even more articles by clicking through to this article on our local news page on CivicCenterTV.com. That's the place to go for all your headlines each and every day before our live shows, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on the Megacast. We keep those articles on that page all throughout the week and all the way through our first live show of the next week over on Monday morning. So you can have all week long to get the latest updates on the top stories making headlines right here in Oakland County. That's news stories that affect us in Oakland County and everyone across the state of Michigan, as well as some fun information on local events and family-friendly activities such as movie night in Birmingham, and of course the week-long Juneteenth celebration happening in Southfield, as well as other news and information as well. CivicCenterTV.com at the top of our page on your computer and on some of your tablets. You'll find that right at the top of the page on CivicCenterTV.com on mobile devices, some tablets, and your mobile phones as well. That'll be in a drop-down menu. Click in the top left corner on CivicCenterTV.com on your cell phone or on your other mobile devices and tablets. You'll get a drop-down menu, click on local news. All the stories are right there. In addition, at the top of the page, we have links to the Centers for Disease Control, the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and the Oakland County Health Division's website, so you can find more information on public health matters, whether it be COVID-19. Yes, the pandemic is mostly in our rear view at this point in time. COVID-19 is still out there. You can still get information on that if that is what you are seeking, but also other public health matters. Hey, we're in the summer. We were talking about it earlier. It's hot outside. It's going to continue to be hot outside. It's dry outside. That can affect your health as well. You'll find plenty of information from all three of those resources on heat stroke, on heat exhaustion, on treating sunburns, even more information that you may need outside this summer and ways that you can keep yourself and your family safe and healthy in this beautiful Michigan summer and beautiful Oakland County summer we have right outside our windows this morning. We'll take a break on the Megacast. On the other side, we'll stay right here in Oakland County. We'll head to our schools and we'll talk to Jenelle Williams, the literacy consultant at Oakland Schools, for a bi-weekly Oakland Schools Education Insider segment right here on the Megacast. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this short break.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
There are many different kinds of noses. Our noses can sniff out all kinds of things. Good things and bad things. Your nose knows if those sniffles are just a cold, allergies, or COVID-19. So swab it. Test it. It's good to know.
Looking for a midweek meal?
Wondering what to say to someone who's been sexually assaulted or abused?
I believe you. I'm so sorry this happened.
It's not your fault.
Confidential and anonymous help is available at the Michigan Sexual Assault Hotline. Connect with us 24/7. Call 855-VOICES-4 or text 1-866-238-1454 for help. Learn more at michigan.gov/voices4.
Like what you see? Beautiful works of art, masterworks of metal, and accomplishments of artistry will be on display near you. All kinds of artists from all walks of life come together to celebrate their skill and appreciate their work's beauty. Hot Works presents the 2023 Orchard Lake Fine Art Show. Stop by July 29th and 30th between 2 and 10 p.m. between Powers and Daly off of Orchard Lake Road.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important.
And now the same is true in the face of flu. Influenza has the power to infect millions.
But it's easy to protect yourself, your family, and your community.
The flu vaccine is safe and effective. And with COVID-19 still around,
It's essential. Together we can face flu season head on.
Visit michigan.gov/flu.
Stop by West Bloomfield Town Hall June 14th and get your health in check at the 14th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair. Over 40 businesses, organizations, and vendors take the time to showcase healthy practices, tips, and resources for the community. Young or old, there's something for everyone and everybody. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesday, June 14th, the 14th Annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair. This community update from Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always find more information on our website on civiccentertv.com/megacast. That's the place to go to find all of our full episodes and each individual segment every single day. Of course, you can watch us live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Civic Center TV, our flagship station, as well as many of our local community television and radio stations all throughout Oakland County. Again, that is civiccentertv.com/megacast, the place to go. We partner with community television and radio stations all throughout our local area. We broadcast live, of course, on Civic Center TV, where we originate our broadcast, as well as on the media network of Waterford in the Lakes area, and then live to tape on Birmingham Area Municipal Access and Orion Neighborhood Television. And then, of course, also live on the radio, 89.3 Lakes FM, and on 88.1 The Biff out of the Birmingham Bloomfield area, service of the Bloomfield Hills School District. In addition, another great outlet that joins us every single day is My Michigan TV. If you haven't heard of that, that is a free streaming network for Michiganders, by Michiganders, all about the state of Michigan, with original and imported programming from all across the state, including our show, the Megacast, live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. On My Michigan TV. You can find information on plenty of festivals and events all throughout the state of Michigan on their show, Michigan Fun. And, of course, following us every single day is Lato Live with attorney and car enthusiast Steve Lato, YouTube personality as well, where he talks about some of the top things going on in the state of Michigan, the top stories making headlines, certainly things in the automotive and in the legal space, and how that applies to our local communities as well. And really just a great orator that you can listen to for an hour every single day. My Michigan TV is the place to go for that, mymytv.com, or follow the link on our website, civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find links to every single one of these stations. You can click through and see they all have their own original programming every single day. I'm looking right now at the website of Orion Neighborhood Television and some of the great programming they have on their website each and every day. You can find their meetings on demand. You can watch them live. You can find all their local programming. They even do their own local news coverage as well, applying, as I talked about earlier on, the Wilderness Trail Fire. How does that apply to Lake Orion and Orion Township? That has plenty of information on their website too. How to tend to your trees was something that was also put on the website earlier on this week. And one of my favorite people in the Orion Township area, Sammy Termina, who covers Oakland County sports, Oakland County high school sports in the Oakland Activities Association, or the OAA, all throughout every single season, whether it's those big time sports that always get all the attention like football and baseball and basketball, to those sports that don't get all the love every single day but are really important and often quite prolific here in Oakland County, like our lacrosse teams and our soccer teams, and our hockey teams and so on. He follows all of these sports. I don't know how he does that, going all throughout the OAA, not just in Orion Township and Lake Orion, where, of course, OMTV primarily covers, but every single corner of Oakland County. I've seen him all the time out at West Bloomfield High School football and basketball games, enjoying those and writing about those and reporting about those and talking about those on his show as well, around the OAA. And you can find that live and live to tape on their website, on Orion Neighborhood Television's website, oriontv.org, or another great place to go, and the easiest way to do that through our network, civiccentertv.com/megacast, and simply type click on Orion Neighborhood Television. You can do the same thing with the Media Network of Waterford and, of course, with 88.1 The Biff as their school year wraps up and you'll get the final chances to listen to their amazing high school radio broadcasters doing 2-hour shows Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. until 9 p.m., as well as all their original programming all throughout the week as well. CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast is the place to go to find all the information that you may need on all of our partnering stations, as well as find our full episodes and each individual interview segment. CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast. And of course, our local news page, the place to go for all of your latest news and other stories and events even in our local area. We talked about a couple earlier on today. Just want to give you an update on that and just go through once again. Every now and then it's good to go through all the resources we have for you on our website in addition to our programming, or that connects to our programming here on the Megacast, live every single week, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. on Civic Center TV and live to tape throughout Oakland County on your own local community television and radio stations. We'll take a break on the Megacast. On the other side, as I mentioned earlier on, our Oakland Schools Education Insider happening today on the Megacast. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this short break.
Many people are feeling overwhelmed and struggling with mental wellness these days. So be kind to your mind. Give yourself permission to breathe. Share your feelings. You are not alone. Have hope. Talk to a Stay Well counselor for free confidential help 24/7 through the COVID-19 hotline.
Ronnie started doing prescription pills at the age of 15, and by 19, he died. If your child is struggling with drug use, try not to be too proud to reach out for help. Don't be worried about what the neighbor will think or your family. Just get your child the help they need. Sometimes it's the hard road to take, but the hard road is nothing compared to living with the fact that your child is no longer with you.
There's hope and help at drugfree.org.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. As always, you can find us live and live to tape and on demand on our Megacast page on CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast, where you'll also find information on all of our partnering stations, including those with original programming from right there in your hometown. Community television and radio stations joining us live and live to tape 5 days a week for an hour each day on the Megacast, live from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and live to tape as well. CivicCenterTV.com/Megacast, the place to go to find all of our partnering stations and find us on demand. Joining us now for our bi-weekly segment with Oakland Schools is Jenelle Williams, the literacy consultant at Oakland Schools, for our bi-weekly Oakland Schools Education Insider. Jenelle, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you on with us to talk about literacy, because it is such a critical issue in our schools and really is at the crux of learning in every single area of a child's education. So how does Oakland Schools support our local school districts in their literacy programs and improving those programs over time?
Sure. We offer a variety of services, anything from inviting educators to come to our facility and engage in professional learning. We also go into districts and work with leaders and educators. So whatever the need is, we work hard to meet that and provide the services to help improve literacy throughout our county.
And some of those programs that are through the intermediate school district, through Oakland Schools, how do those connect ultimately to these school districts? Are they coming to you to ask for this assistance in their classroom, or are you providing these resources simply to them that they can tap into at any time?
Both are true. So we often will have central office leaders, district leaders, even teachers reaching out to us with specific needs. And then we also have access to data that tell us what the countywide needs might be for literacy, and that helps us plan for broad professional learning events that everyone can come to.
And especially in the earlier years, in the early childhood education, that being early elementary, I would say it's a better way to put it. This has been a growing issue over the last several years, given the COVID-19 pandemic, the way that affected learning in early elementary school, and especially literacy learning at that point in time. So how have these goals, how have these different programs changed in the last few years, and how has that impacted also the assistance that you're providing to individual teachers in classrooms and to individual school districts?
I focus primarily on secondary literacy, but I have some awesome colleagues at Oakland Schools that focus on early literacy. And they have been a part of a project called Dulio that focuses primarily on kindergarten through third grade, but also includes fourth and fifth grade. And through that Dulio project, they've provided professional learning. They've supported literacy coaches in participating districts, just a variety of supports that have been available. And that's really been a targeted approach over the last several years. And then additionally, we have folks at Oakland Schools that are tied into the overall statewide work in literacy. So in Michigan, we are lucky enough to have a suite of documents that focus on improving literacy from birth through grade 12. And a number of us are both a part of that statewide work, but also applying that work in our regional setting.
So at the secondary level where you specialize, as you mentioned, what are some of the common issues that have been popping up in recent years in our individual school districts? And how is Oakland County helping through Oakland Schools to support improving those issues and helping students either catch up to their grade level or even better yet, exceed that grade level learning?
Yeah, well, the key with adolescents is motivation and engagement, getting them interested in the learning to begin with. And from there, we can work on, filling out skills that perhaps they missed during the pandemic or aren't just connecting with at the levels we're looking for. So we really focus on educational approaches that are motivating and engaging, things where students see their lives in the learning. They see that it has meaning and impact, and that it can improve things in their community. And by focusing on that first, those meaningful reasons for students to engage in learning, we find that we're more successful in supporting their literacy growth as well. So I'm a part of a broader team at Oakland Schools that focuses on what we call disciplinary literacy, which might sound like it has something to do with behavior, but it doesn't. It really is focused on what it means to be literate in the various disciplines of English language arts, mathematics, science, and social studies. So our team works with educators in all of those areas on really lifting the literacy that's specific in those areas and focus on improving that motivational piece for students to get them engaged in their learning.
Let's elaborate on that. How does that often work where you're working with either individual students or with their teachers to work with these students that they're in the classroom with each and every day to find that motivation and then turn that into ultimately a greater sense of learning and a greater effectiveness of that learning to help them catch up to where they need to be in an area that is so critical to all elements of their education?
Sure. So we're lucky in that the standards that drive the instruction that takes place in classrooms really leans into inquiry or problem-based approaches. So having meaningful issues for students. And so this year we've been working with district teams in our participating districts. We've come together every month and we help those district teams, which include central office, building leaders, teachers, instructional coaches. We help them set up some of the systems, including professional learning, that can help their teachers make that shift to those inquiry-based approaches that students find more engaging. So we have some documents that guide the work that we're doing that focus on what should be happening throughout the school, and then also what should be happening in each classroom in 6th through 12th grade in order to really achieve those goals that we're setting for students' literacy.
More information can be found on Oakland Schools and their programs by visiting oakland.k12.edu. oakland.k12.mi.us. Oakland.k12.mi.us is their website. You can also find Oakland Schools on social media at Oakland Schools on Facebook and Instagram, and on Twitter and Instagram. And on Facebook, you can find them at OS Michigan for more information and updates on their programs all throughout the school year and beyond. We're joined on today's edition of the program by Jenelle Williams, the literacy consultant at Oakland Schools, for a bi-weekly Oakland Schools Education Insider, focusing on literacy. And you know, when we talk about this and we talk about this issue, it's often looked at from such a high level as being that critical piece, that game changer in education that affects all different areas. So when you have students that are improving on their literacy, when they're improving in the classroom, how do those results ultimately go on to affect down the line their overall education, their grades, their performance in the classroom and outside after they've gone through some of these programs?
Sure. Well, you know, being a literate individual means that you're able to take in any kind of information, make sense of it, and then communicate effectively. And so clearly that is our end goal for all of our students, to help them develop that ability to consume information critically and also be able to share information as they move into the world. And so this has direct connections to our workforce. Clearly, we want folks that are able to read, write, and communicate in effective ways as they take on careers after 12th grade, as they go to university or college. So that's one goal that we're working toward. Additionally, we want to have a civically minded group of folks that are leading our country. And so we feel that this work is really essential for that as well. And then just at its most basic level, we really believe that all students have the ability to develop their literacy. All students have the ability to be successful in school. And we believe that by developing this while they're with us in 6th through 12th grade, we're also providing more opportunities for them to access higher education, to access college and university, and be able to navigate those classes, which really require a high level of literacy.
Again, more information can be found on Oakland Schools programs by visiting oakland.k12.mi.us. Joining us on the Megacast today for our Oakland Schools Education Insider is Jenelle Williams, the literacy consultant at Oakland Schools. And for parents or even for students who are looking to improve their literacy, they recognize that literacy or reading comprehension or any of these various issues that ultimately fit into that category of literacy may be a problem for them or for their students. What resources are available through Oakland Schools for these parents, for these families, and for these individual students?
You know, talked before about the professional learning for educators, which is a key way that we really have a direct impact on students. So our Oakland Schools disciplinary literacy team, our early literacy consultants, all spend a great deal of our time working directly with teachers. But we also are tied into that statewide work on literacy, which has a wide variety of resources available. All of those are available on literacyessentials.org. And that can include professional learning modules. It can include resources that teachers can use in their classrooms, resources for leaders that are looking to help teachers make these shifts. So we really focus on making sure that the resources that we're providing are at low cost or no cost, so that, you know, funding and budget aren't constraints to people being able to engage in this learning and improve literacy.
Now, anything else that we should know about the literacy interventions that are provided through Oakland County, or programs that both educators and individuals in these schools, whether it be students or parents or both, can engage in before we let you go?
I would just say that intermediate school districts across Michigan, including Oakland Schools, are service agencies. So our whole purpose is to support all of the educators in our region And, we're lucky enough at Oakland Schools to have a really high performing team of consultants providing services. And we just encourage folks to take advantage of all of the resources that are available and reach out to us with ways that we can be helpful.
Well, Jenelle, we appreciate you joining us to tell us more about the literacy programs available through Oakland Schools that are being tapped into by individual school districts and by students and families right here in Oakland County. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You can join us for the Oakland Schools Education Insider every other week, usually on Thursdays, but sometimes we got to move things around and still give you that information on all these great programs provided through our intermediary school district, Oakland Schools, supporting all of our local school districts right here in Oakland County. We'll take a break on the Megacast. On the other side, it's that once again that time of the week to talk about the latest in politics here in Michigan and across the U.S. Joining us after the break is Dave Dulio from Oakland University to go over the latest news in the 2024 presidential campaign, how Michigan's going to make an impact, what is the strategy for the Democrats in trying to get Joe Biden reelected, and new candidates joining the presidential race for the Republican nomination. We'll talk about all that and more coming up next. You're watching and listening to the Megacast.
Watch Civic Center TV with our brand new live captions. To turn on live captions, go to civiccentertv.com and click Watch Live. In your web browser, click on the Options tab in the top right and find the Accessibilities tab. Then just switch on live captions to heighten your enjoyment of our local programming. Thank you so much for watching Civic Center TV.
When you have a gambling problem, you have a money problem. Don't let your gambling cause you financial hardship. If you or someone you love is struggling with gambling, we can help. Get free confidential counseling and win your life back. Learn more at michigan.gov/problemgambling.
How can you get involved with upcoming elections? West Bloomfield Township wants you to join the ranks as an election inspector. Get trained on using polling equipment, proper procedures for handling ballots, and more to keep the voting process smooth and safe. If you're interested, go to wbtownship.org for more information or call the clerk's office with the number provided on screen. This community update from Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Welcome back to the Megacast, our live daily TV, radio, and streaming show talking about all things Oakland County and the state of Michigan. I'm your host, Tyler Kieft. You can always stay up to date with us on our Megacast page on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. That's where you'll go to find all of our full shows and each individual segment on demand, as well as information on all of our partnering stations here in Oakland County and throughout the state of Michigan and their original programming in the 23 hours of the day, Monday through Friday, that they're not joining us either live from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. or live to tape throughout the rest of the mornings, afternoons, and evenings. civiccentertv.com/Megacast, the place to go for all of that information. Well, there's plenty of more information coming in each and every day regarding the 2024 presidential election, with both parties vying for power in Washington, D.C. The Democrats trying to get Joe Biden reelected despite some low approval ratings once again for the president, and then more candidates jumping into the Republican race for the nomination this week as well. Joining us on the program to talk about that and more is Dave Dulio, distinguished professor of political science at Oakland University, where he also serves as the director for their Center for Civic Engagement. Dave, thank you as always for joining us.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Good to see you, Tyler.
Yeah, good to see you as well. Big week it's been for news in the presidential election, even right here in the state of Michigan, with Governor Whitmer this week filing paperwork with the Federal Election Commission, or FEC, to form her Fight Like Hell PAC, which is going to be aimed at particularly funding campaigns in 2024 on the Democratic side. And according to Bridge, Michigan, a big focus of that political action committee is going to be trying to get Joe Biden reelected. So, and let's begin with Governor Whitmer and her standing in the Democratic Party. We know in 2016, she was on that short list of people to potentially run with Joe Biden as his VP candidate. But even over the course of the last several years, with Michigan's growing importance in the political realm across the board. How much more important does Governor Whitmer then become over these next couple of years as we approach the 2024 election and even beyond that? Her growing profile is going to be very impactful in this upcoming election.
Yeah, I think that your phrase there, growing profile, is a good one. She has, ever since she was first mentioned as a VP candidate in 2020, she has sort of grabbed that opportunity to become a national political figure, and she's done that rhetorically. She's done that with the interviews that she's done on you name this the station. Her fundraising has been prolific, and with money coming in from all over the country. This is just in her sort of throwing her hat in the ring of national politics. And we'd be remiss if we didn't say that she's also a co-chair of the Biden reelect. So this is another avenue for her to have an impact. And let's also not forget that her sister is running for a U.S. House seat in, I believe it's New York State. So, the Whitmer sisters might be some dynamic duo where the governor can raise some money to help her sister.
And it's going to be necessary for Joe Biden to get that kind of support from people like Governor Gretchen Whitmer and other up-and-comers in the Democratic Party, considering his approval ratings, even within his own party, are, to put it lightly, quite abysmal. So how important is it going to be for the Biden campaign going forward to really rally the troops behind him in that leadership that's also, in some cases, trying to get themselves reelected or jockey for position for their own political futures?
Yeah, I think every little bit helps, but I'm not so sure that even somebody with the standing of Governor Whitmer in the Democratic Party can get those Biden approval numbers, higher by themselves, right? I mean, just having Gretchen Whitmer be a surrogate for the Biden campaign isn't going to make people forget about the inflation that we're facing, other economic indicators, other things that people are worried about, like crime in many communities. So, it's really going to be incumbent on the incumbent, Joe Biden, to turn those things around, right the ship on his own.
We're joined on today's program by Dave Dulio, Distinguished Professor of Political Science at Oakland University, where he is also the director of their Center for Civic Engagement. You can find more information on programs at Oakland University at oakland.edu and on the Center for Civic Engagement, especially as we get into the fall and the election season gets into full swing. Oakland.edu/CCE. Big news this week on the Republican side, Dave, has been a couple of more candidates that were one in which case was expected to get into the race, and another that isn't necessarily a surprise, but also throwing his hat in the ring this week as former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie announced that he has filed to be a candidate on the Republican side, as well as former Vice President Mike Pence also running against the man that he served with, Donald Trump, for the Republican nomination. Now, looking at the field on the Republican side, we know the two heavy hitters are Trump and DeSantis. It's pretty well understood that it's between Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis for the Republican nomination. And it's not that these candidates down the line don't have any chance. It's just that their chances are essentially slim to none. So with that being the case, why do candidates get into races like this when they know that there is a presumptive candidate, or there are one or two heavy hitters, maybe three heavy hitters total, but still throw their hat in the ring? What's the purpose of that?
Yeah, I think that success in a campaign can be measured in other ways than just winning. And while that may seem, sort of an academic answer, maybe it is, but it's also true. I would add one caveat to your comments about some of the other candidates like Nikki Haley or Tim Scott that are in the race. It's not that it's DeSantis or bust, right? I think with the right context, the right shifts in the political atmosphere, one of those candidates could emerge. I think it's the chances of that are low, and in all likelihood it is going to, it's Trump or DeSantis. Now these other candidates, right? You said their chances of winning are slim to none. I would add to that Slim just left the building. Chris Christie is not going to be the Republican nominee. Mike Pence is not going to be the Republican nominee. That is just a pipe dream in their eyes. And I say that because, the eventual winner of this thing, if it's not Donald Trump, is going to have to get some support from the Trump wing of the party. And Mike Pence just is not going to do that. I mean, and that's nothing against Mike Pence. He is who he is. He is principled. He is steadfast in his beliefs. He just is on the wrong side of Trump. And I think Christie is he's there to be an attack dog. I think he is there to go after Trump. I don't know if some other Republicans encouraged him to get in the race solely to do that, but he said that he's gonna take on Trump because somebody needs to. And for those two, I think it'll be fascinating to watch how they approach it. I think the others, somebody like Haley or Scott or even Ramaswamy, right? Go back to my first comment, right? Success in a campaign can be more than just about winning. And I think that holds true certainly for those other candidates like Haley, Scott, and Ramaswamy. One other thing I would add is that it wasn't an entrant into the race this week that I took notice of. It was somebody who passed, and that's Governor Sununu in New Hampshire. And your viewers or listeners might start thinking, well, why is that important? Well, Governor Sununu in New Hampshire comes from one of those early primary states, and it's one where they don't always pick the winner, but they can certainly shape the rest of the race. And with Sununu out, the polling that I've seen shows that the majority, the plurality of his supporters' second choice is DeSantis. So Ron DeSantis stands to benefit from Sununu's passing on 2024.
And these candidates that are, so to speak, down the line, like you mentioned, they have an impact ultimately on how these things shape out when they get out of the race and throw their support behind one of the heavy hitters that's leading or is near leading in the race and may just need a little bit of extra support behind them to get that big jump in one of those big states during the primary season. But they also help to inform the overall platform of that party going into the general election. How does that ultimately have an impact, having the opinions and having the policy of these different candidates come into the fold and at least get out there rhetorically during the debate season?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think they can certainly have an impact on the conversation, right? And demonstrate the breadth or narrowness of a party's sort of where they stand on different issues, right? And I think that just take abortion, right? That's going to be one where there isn't much difference between all of those candidates, and there's going to be some, right, with Mike Pence on one side and maybe Trump on the other, or what have you. But then take another one like the war in Ukraine, right? There could be very, very broad differences between the candidates in the GOP primary on say that issue, and a host of others that we know now are important or will be important, as well as those that will pop up in the next year.
Well, Dave, we appreciate you joining us to talk about how these different things that pop up each and every week in this campaign, new candidates coming on, and certainly about those that are maybe not presumed to have a chance in this race, may actually have an impact in the race for the Republican nomination. Appreciate your time as always. Oakland.edu is the place to go for more information on Oakland University programs, and you can also find information on the Center for Civic Engagement there at oakland.edu/CCE. That is going to do it for this edition of the Megacast. You can always stay up to date with us on civiccentertv.com/Megacast. Find our full shows and each individual segment on demand, and find information on all of our partnering stations. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to each of our guests for being with us, as well as our dedicated crew. I'm Tyler Kieft. Until next time, take care of each other, and we'll see you very soon.